February 26, 2008. This video that was uploaded just 15 days prior hit the top ranking on Niconico Douga. And this clip made this girl go viral. This is Hatena Yousei, a name that translates to the question mark fairy. And the question is, was the question mark fairy made popular just because of a clip? Is it simply because she's cute? That is a big part as to why she became popular, but it is a little bit more complex than that. To understand her popularity, first we have to talk about Benesse. Benesse is a Japanese company that focuses on education programs. Their two most popular programs being the correspondence courses Kodomo Challenge for kindergartners and Shinkenzemi, which covers elementary, middle, and high school. And they go by the name Challenge and Challenge. And what does that mean? Correct, it means they have money, they have a lot of money, they have insane amounts of money. For you to understand how much money they have, in 2016 they had 2.43 million people taking these courses. That is about 2% of the population of the country, and if you take out the adults and the elderly, that would make about 10% of kids between 0 to 19 years old taking part in these courses. And that's when they were on a decline, because in 2004 they had 4 million clients. If this tiger seems familiar to you, this is their mascot. This face makes a lot of money. So what does it matter that they have money? Well, to make money, you need to use money. Benesse spends over 25 billion yen a year on sending mail advertisement, the highest of any Japanese company. And half of that is for Shinkenzemi challenge courses. Of course, if you just send people mail, they get tired of it and just throw it away without opening it. So they started putting advertisement manga about taking the Shinkenzemi courses, and other times, even animated DVDs. And now you're starting to see where I'm heading to. The name of the video posted on Niconico Douga is I found a Moe character in an elementary first year challenge DVD. Now you're starting to understand why this was a little bit more special. Because this was an anime advertising their course that the target audience was quite literally, and I mean quite literally, 6-year-olds that were just about to get into elementary school. It's like, from that clip, people found treasure from the last place one would ever expect it. Before I talk about the reaction online, I'll go through the contents of the DVD real quick just so you understand better what we're dealing with. The anime name is The Transformation of Yuki into a Cool First Year. Nakama Yuki is a kindergartner who is excited to become a first year in elementary school, but is worried if he can really become a cool first year. He is visited by the Shinkenzemi elementary school course mascot Korasho, who is the Randoseru fairy. Korasho invites Yuki to go for an elementary school test trial. It uses his power to give life to things to take him there. And to show how fun elementary school is, they immediately have physical education and a sports festival. Then they get inside to have class and they just hop around a bit to the song. And then they immediately have physical education again, except now indoors. And then they're served lunch and the test trial is over. Wasn't school fun? You got to do a lot of physical education. The school itself gives Yuki a series of 4 trials about how to become a cool first year. The first trial is given by the big clock, and the objective is to get to school on time. And to help with that, of course, Yuki uses Shinkenzemi's elementary course Korasho clock that talks. If you join the Shinkenzemi, you as well can get one of these. Yuki completes that trial, and so he enters the school to face the second one. And this is the big point of interest for this video. They are faced with the void filled with question marks that turn into Yuki's possessions.
だから君たちは僕のものって本当にわかるのかな。ただ似てるだけで君のものじゃないかもしれないよ。誰？
The issue is that his things might be someone else's and they just look alike. The solution is simply to put your name on those things by the means of a name label which you can get specifically with your name on if you join the Shinkenzemi.
すごいじゃない。自分の持ち物がちゃんとわかるようにできたわね。かっこいい1年生になるための2つ目の冒険もバッチリクリアよ。やったー！
And with that, they leave the room behind for the third trial given by the Chalkman. I like this trial. The first trial was like, you have to come on time, otherwise you won't be able to get in. Oh no, how sad. The second one was like, you have to put your name on your possessions, otherwise you won't know if it's yours. Oh no, how inconvenient. Chalkman is like,
you have to know how to write your name in proper stroke order, otherwise I'm going to kill you.
But Yuki completes the task because he has been practicing with the Shinkenzemi's stroke order machine great, which you can obtain by joining the Shinkenzemi. They use a lot of runtime for this advert. You just know this is the thing they thought would get the attention of the kids the most. They made a stadium to advertise this. Suddenly there's 3D models and visual effects, all because it has a shitty Tori mode as well. Yuki completes the trial, and for the last challenge, they're on a desert, a castle comes out of it, and then a robot comes out of the castle. The last challenge is a counting challenge. If you can't count to 10, you cannot become a cool first year. Yuki has no confidence in math, but Yuki can practice counting with the math machine great, which can obtain by joining the Shinkenzemi. And I guess using this is better than counting literally anything else, because this machine goes ping pong when you get the answer right. The robot starts leaving while Yuki is practicing, but Kurasho tries to stop it, and then every other taskmaster comes to also help. Yuki takes on the trial and completes it. Yay! He now knows how to become a cool first year. But he has yet lots to learn. But no worries though, because there are lots of explanations on how to become a cool first year if you join the Shinkenzemi's first year challenge course. And that was how the anime goes. One last thing of note is that another reason as to why this got the people's interest was because the choice of voice actors was extravagant. Kurasho is voiced by Otani Ikue, Nakama Yuki is voiced by Takayama Minami, Hatena Yousei herself was voiced by Toyoguchi Megumi, Chalkman is Watanabe Kumiko, the math robot is Nakata Joji. It's a wild lineup for a kid's advertisement DVD. The biggest reason for the proliferation of the character was the appearance of several threads on the text board Nichannel as soon as that video got on the top ranking, mainly on the YouTube board, which focuses on video sharing services. The threads were going at really high speed. On its first 24 hours, users went through 6 threads, which is about 6,000 messages. From the very beginning, many of those messages were posting arts and edits, with over 400 of these posted on the very first day. And this explosion wasn't only on these threads. A little after 2 hours, the first thread was created. Someone said, "There's already 4 drawings of Pixiv, lol," noting how fast people were about making art of Hatena Yousei. About 22 hours later, someone noted that there were 57 drawings, and 5 hours after that comment, someone noted that the Hatena Yousei tag on Pixiv had passed 100 drawings. Not even 3 days after that first thread was born, the tag had over 300 drawings in it, and not even 4 days after, it had 400. ASCII art started appearing. Anyways, people on this thread like thanks, right? Of course, my brother! Some people noted that she looked like Misao from Lucky Star. There were 5 threads going at the same time in different boards. Some people couldn't sleep because they were enjoying the thread too much. And there were a lot of people looking forward to summer with the expectation that doujinshi would come out. And just so you understand the vibe of these threads, from the very get-go, the 10th post of the first thread was a lewd drawing. I think it's safe to say, at the very least, half of the drawings were not safe for work. Just so we are on the same page, just so we understand what was going on those threads, I'm going to sleep soon, but I have one last thing to say. Hatena Yousei is my little sister. Good night, brother-in-law. What are you saying? She's my older sister. Aren't you guys confusing her with my wife? She's my niece. No, wait just a minute. She's my master. The biggest joke related to Hatena Yousei was that people were reading Hatena as Haitenai, Hatena being question mark, and Haitenai being a negative form of haku, to wear something by passing it through your legs. It could be pants, but what is referred to here is exactly what I think it is. So while people were having a lot of fun on those threads, someone draw Hatena Yousei in a school swimsuit. Someone draw Hatena Yousei as if she was in an eroge. Want someone draw Hatena Yousei pissing herself? A little bit too much fun. Another interesting thing started happening. From the very first thread, someone noted, if there is a question mark fairy, there must be an exclamation mark fairy. And people started drawing it and creating settings for the character. She is now Hirameki Yousei, Hatena Yousei's older sister. Her design differs by artist, but the defining factor is that she's blue. And that was fun, but on a later thread, someone asked, why doesn't Benesse send a deletion request for the video on Niconico? But this poster wrote request as fairy, as both have the same pronunciation. And thus, Sakujo Yousei, the deletion fairy, and Hatena Yousei's rival, was created. On the exact same thread, someone made a joke about Sakujo Yousei correcting the kanji drill exercises of another poster, but kanji wasn't written as the writing system kanji. It was written as the word for feeling. So Sakujo Yousei was correcting their feeling drill. And somehow that also led to the birth of the character kanji drill. If there is an exclamation mark, then there must be a hanamaru mark, which is a mark teachers write on kids' tests for doing a good job. And thus another fairy was born. At one point, people started getting a little bit too cute and learned how to request Benesse, the challenge first year DVDs. And people were getting them. Someone asked for a DVD putting their child's name as Yousei. From people requesting the material, the wordplay material request, read as Shiryo Yousei, came up. Instead of material, Shiryo was read as ghost, and instead of request, Yousei was read as fairy. And so someone posted art of it. But then other people posted actual drawings, and the ghost fairy was born. These characters started coming out, and people were giving them settings. From what started with a side character from an advertisement DVD, eventually became something akin to an actual community-created magical girl show setting. And here's the elephant in the room: what the hell is Ito Makoto from School Days doing here? From the very beginning, people noted that Nakama Yuki looked a lot like a younger version of Ito Makoto, which led to people shitposting with ASCII art of Makoto and getting a reaction telling Makoto to die. And he just became a staple on these threads. And outside of these threads, eventually the 2008 anime Saimoe tournament happened, an online popularity contest to decide the most moe character of the year. Hatena Yousei had a good run, where she got a top 32 position out of 2,423 characters, losing to the semi-finalist Furukawa Nagisa. And she also appeared in the 2010 Saimoe tournament, but lost in the first round to Hiro from Hidamari Sketch. And I just gotta say, tough bracket. But well, it is unsurprising that she couldn't go through, because everything that goes up has to go down, and so did her popularity eventually. Naturally, things slowed down and people lost interest for the most part. It seems that Benesse took notice that some grown-up friends were having a little bit too much fun, unsurprising considering they had a very sudden rise in DVD requests. About 3 months after the original video was sent, it was taken down by Benesse, alongside numerous other Hatena Yousei related videos on Niconico Douga and on YouTube. I found a playlist of 60 videos related to Hatena Yousei, and only one remains. The original clip had 180,000 views, and a higher quality reupload of it had 220,000 by the time of deletion. Benesse made a second version of the anime episode to showcase the new version of her toys, or their study materials, and they decided that on this version they had to defang Hatena Yousei of her otaku appeal. As in quite literally, they took her fang out. It is interesting that they understood how much impact that little triangle has on people. They also replaced her skirt with briefs, with the same objective of lowering her appeal, but people also had some fun with that, using it as evidence that she really wasn't wearing it. She did appear once again in another promotional DVD later. She comes back with Chalkman to give this kid a quiz. Even she goes ping pong when he gets the answer right. After that though, she made no appearances on any materials anymore. She wasn't even part of the actual study materials in the first place, just a character in these promotional DVDs. But on later DVDs that came out in 2013, there are other characters that people took as spiritual successors to Hatena Yousei. one of them being Kotoba Princess, the word princess. She also goes ping pong ping pong.
君も言葉チャンピオンを目指そう
She gives out the second challenge. She is pink and similar to Hatena Yousei.
あらすごいじゃない
She has question mark earrings and gives support on the final challenge, which is given by a giant robot that can count to 10. She didn't get nearly as much attention, and I would think Benesse would try to distance themselves as much as possible from Hatena Yousei after all that, but I guess we just didn't really care that much. Now, at this point, Hatena Yousei is a character that managed to place her name seal in internet history, and although her peak popularity is long gone, she is still remembered and is apparently still looked fondly by some people. I myself kept seeing this character throughout the years. Oh, there she is again, the question mark girl. There was just something about this design that was just so memorable. Probably the question mark. I always thought she was from a quiz show or quiz game and was always curious as to why she kept coming up again and again, and I finally quenched my curiosity. And it's mostly thanks to a website called Hatena Park. It was created in 2009 and is still up to this day. It's an archive for the big majority of things that happen on those niche-channel YouTube board threads. They saved over 3,000 images, all of them relating to the culture born within those threads. And I'm almost sure there were more images that couldn't be saved, but it is easily enough to get an idea of the passion that surrounded those threads at the time. But honestly, looking back now, it really feels like a you had to be there kind of thing. It's fun to see that people had fun, but not being able to take part in the fun, it's not so fun. But ultimately, what matters is that people had a lot of fun. And to think this all happened to a character with not even 2 minutes of screen time from a DVD the people excited about the character weren't even supposed to have watched. I like when something like this happens. And I think this video is over. Not much more to say. Oh yes! The Fin books! Were there doujinshi made? Yes, there were. There were a few of them, alright. That's all I have to say. Please post in the comments if you think she wears them or not. See ya.